Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Today is the 13th of June, and it is our Monday Motivational Monday. I know some of you might be thinking this is a much younger version of Margaret that you've got, but it is me, Lucy, hosting this morning for my mom. She is writing one of her exams this morning, which she's been busy preparing for, and it's quite a long exam. It's from 8 until 1. So she unfortunately won't be joining us. And Stacey is also unable to make this morning. So it is, but don't worry, Jess and I are here, and we've got a very exciting person for you to chat to. So I'm going to say good morning, Jess. Hello.
Hi, Lucy. How are you?
All good, thank you. On
Good.
this chilly
It's so
Monday
lovely
morning.
it's so lovely to share this platform with you again, but we are thinking of your mom and writing her exams. Gosh, it really does just keep going.
I know,
So
I
good
must
luck,
say,
Margaret. We are thinking of you. And welcome, Jane.
Thank you. Excited to be here today with you guys. Chilly morning. Durban's chilly is like not chilly to my friends overseas.
Cool.
Jane,
I think I froze for a second, but welcome, Jane. We are sorry.
Jess, let me introduce Jane, because I'm good to go with my Wi-Fi over here. So Jane, I have to say, I have seen you before somewhere in some social media platform, and the reason why I recognize you is because there are not many mamas walking around with very beautiful, I don't know, what would I say, violet colored hair. No. So you are noticeable to me, and I know that you wear many different hats as a businesswoman and as a mom, and I just wanted to say thank you for joining us here. Okay, oh Jess, I think you're back. I'm just busy saying hi to Jane. And can you just let us know just first the different versions of Jane? We've got the GI Jane, we've got the unselfish me one. Can you just first give us like a little breakdown of who is Jane?
So yes, I am a mom, I'll say, but first of all, I'm me. I like to put myself first, like I've learned over the years. So yeah, I've always been very sporty and very outgoing. If you are into astrology, I'm a Leo, but I'm a double Leo, so I literally have to be out there. There's nothing quiet about me. I've been a personal trainer, so that's my GI Jane side. I've been a personal trainer for 14 years. And then
where do you train from? Just a little bit of like, where are you based?
So I'm in Durban North. I used to be a Virgin Active at Kings Park, as some of you might remember me. I always had, this is the longest my hair's been in years, I always have a bob. So I worked at Virgin Active at Kings Park for 5 years, and then we moved house. When we got married, we moved house, and it had 3 granny flats. So I just changed one of my granny flats into a studio. So I focused mainly on women. So I was doing women only, so it was nice and private. But yeah, I've moved on to teaching yoga now. So I teach beginner yoga. I don't teach intermediate. I literally take you from not knowing anything, how to do anything, and teach you the poses so that you can feel confident going to an intermediate class. So right now I'm doing that. And because of COVID, I wasn't doing any training. I was only doing online training and selfishly me, so all the self-love stuff. But now I'm teaching yoga, and I've got an outdoor area outside my studio, which is Astro, which is a beautiful view of the sunrise. So we do like a 6 a.m. and a 5 p.m. So I've moved from personal training, like weight training and stuff, which I still do a little bit of, but to be honest, I'm so busy with the beginner yoga, I don't really have time for personal training clients unless they do.
But Jane, like, I have to just, before we even go further, I have to say, like, I've been desperate to start yoga, but I have no idea about any of the poses and whatever. So it's so wonderful that you offer space like that, because you want to at least kind of know a little bit about it before you, and even just get a feel of, is this going to work for me? Is that, so that's very interesting. Okay, so thank you for sharing that with us. And then your other role as a self-love coach.
Yeah, so I started Unselfishly Me in 2018. So I think I've always been talking about self-love. Well, I know, not I think. I've always been talking to my clients about it. I'm not the typical trainer with a six-pack who has like food deprivation. I'm like, eat a cake, you know, like that, do like 80-20 lifestyle. And I've always been like that. So I've always told them to focus on being kind to themselves, looking in the mirror, saying kind things. So I've always been in the self-love like line, but I was doing it like a little bit. Whereas now I've flipped it and I'm working like from the inside out instead of focusing on the outside in, and it really does make a huge difference. So that is my primary business right now as well. Since I started it, it's been pushing more into Unselfishly Me, and I started off with an e-course and then a podcast. I still do the podcast. I've got the e-course, it's self-paced online. I have a self-love club, which is like a monthly membership. I've got workshops and like journals, and so all self-love products that I've created, like affirmation cards and guided journals. And yeah, it's just evolved. And I do retreats, which is probably my favorite thing that I do. So yeah, it's a lot of going inward, but like in a kind way. Like I like to say I make self-love simple, because I think it's quite complicated when you say that and everyone's like, self-love, love yourself. You're like, how? What do I do? Yeah. So teaching the fundamentals and making it simple, I think, is like my gift of being able to take a topic and simplify it for everyone.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me now. I'm really sorry about my internet connection this morning. But I was trying to say thank you, Jane, so much for joining us this morning. It's so lovely to have you here. The reason we really wanted you here is that very often in our Motivational Mondays, the answer to a question is that we need to love ourselves more. And then the next question is, but how? Yeah. So how let's go back a little bit. Like, how do we found ourselves in this position to begin with? Where have things gone wrong that we have to now learn?
Okay. So I'm actually launching a schools program in the next few months. We create our own stories that we think that we are. So we think we're a certain way. So we think that we don't concentrate, that we're a dreamer, that we are so disruptive, that we are bossy. All of these things we actually learn in childhood. So we learn them in childhood from our parents, our siblings, and our teachers. So I'm actually busy creating it's called Unselfishly Me, Schools of Self-Love, a program where I'm going into the schools and having workshops with the teachers and teaching them how to teach kids and what to say to them and what not to say to them, because it's so important. And they don't realize, I mean, I'm a qualified teacher, I haven't worked as a teacher yet, but all my friends are teachers, and I've chatted to them about it, and they don't actually realize. And when I talk to them about it, they realize that they have the same stories from teachers when they were growing up. So it's just this thing of, if you aren't aware of how you're speaking to someone and what you're saying to them and the words you're using for them, you don't understand the damage that you're creating long term. Can go for any of us also that have children. Like, the things that we say to them are so important. So for me, looking back on who you have created the story from is so important. So everyone today watching, like, if there's something that you describe yourself as, like, I always think I'm bossy, and I've taken that because my mom told me I was bossy, but I'm a double Leo, so I'm meant to be a leader. So it's not actually being bossy. I use those words because she said those words. So it's not actually that, it's just that I'm a natural leader and I take charge, and that's what I do. So taking those things that you describe yourself as or think that you are, and kind of digging back. If anyone used to watch Veronica Mars, the private investigator show on TV, like, Veronica Mars it and actually like dig and investigate where these thoughts and these feelings came from, because usually they did not come from you, they came from other people. So it's really important to look at that and find where these things came from. Like, you will never amount to anything, you are so disruptive, you are lazy, you are a dreamer. Like, if someone is sitting there like literally staring into space, but those people actually just turn out to be the most amazing creatives in their adult life. So there's all these stories that we've created for ourselves.
And Jane, don't you also think it's like the use of the word, like, for example, bossy? There are certain roles in our world or society or in our life where being bossy has some serious advantages of getting stuff done.
Yeah, for sure.
You want someone to organize something or do something for you or whatever. Are you going to find like the person who just, or you're going to try to find the bossy person? Because there's a lot of actually pros to those characteristics that just have these negative connotations to them. As someone who has too been called bossy many times in her life, I'm like, when someone needs to get something done, guess who they find? The bossy person, Little Miss Bossy Boots. And I think, and even like that becomes almost also like, our role in our families and our role in our friendships and how we are defined. Like, okay, and then we start playing to those roles. And there's so many, whatever it is, there's a flip side to everything. So there's so many positive aspects to being well organized, not being afraid to speak up, things like that. But then they phrase it in a negative way that you're bossy, and I think that so often, and you get labeled something, which is actually such a positive thing. Like, I would much rather be well organized and someone who's a natural leader to live my life that I currently need to live than someone who doesn't have those qualities.
Yeah, totally. I love who I am. I love that I'm bossy. I love that I'm outspoken.
Yeah.
When I was studying, I studied sports science at UDW, and the class made me, it was our third year, every year basically, they would send me to the lecturers. We had this idea to try and make all of our lectures finished by 12. So we try to juggle with our sports science campus, and then we did obviously like the sports psych and stuff at the main campus. But they would send me, I wasn't even a class captain or anything, they would send me to go talk to each lecturer, which especially in first year, it's quite daunting when you're only getting to know them. So each year I was sent to go and talk to them and say, okay, this is our timetable, what can we do? Is there any way that we could do this? And I think in our third year, we managed to get it down to 3 days instead of 5 and finish by 12.
You see, and there's actually the most funny social media little meme that I've seen where it's a picture of a guy, and someone says to him, geez, why do you go pick such a bossy wife? And he goes, who's going to tell them I want fries with my chicken, when they bring me mashed potatoes? Like, I think that there's a role that certain people are attracted to, because those certain characteristics that don't come naturally to them, they look for people that have them, that anyway, so that's great. It's just interesting the way people phrase it, like, to be a negative thing when it's not necessarily.
And we take on those stories. I think that's the key thing, is people say these things, teachers, parents, siblings, and it's usually 0 to 7 years old is when we take on these kind of like these preconceived ideas about ourselves, but we subconsciously run with them and we believe them. I think that's the problem as well, is that we believe them and then we become them and we allow them to consume us. So it's trying to teach kids to not take on those stories, to recognize them, and then to go, okay, this isn't my story, and try and teach them between 7 and 14. This isn't my story. I'm better than this. If someone told me at that age, and I could say, I'm not bossy, I'm a leader, it would have been so much easier for me to, be coming as a leader and actually going, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to join that club and I'm going to join that club and I want to do this workshop and become this person, because I would have seen it as a positive, not negative.
So Jane, would you say then that step 1 in the self-love process is actually finding yourself, redefining yourself, figuring out who you are, answering all those deep questions before actually learning to love those parts of ourselves? And I guess then the question is how?
Yeah, I think the first step for me would be, what is your story? So what is the thing that you describe yourself as to other people, or you berate yourself for? So finding that thing that you think you are, whether it's bossy or lazy or, can't concentrate, dreamer, whatever those words are that you think that you are, finding that, maybe writing that down. And then underneath that, where did this come from, or who, where or who did this come from? And then writing that down, because when you start thinking about it, it starts unraveling and you're like, oh, okay, just writing until you get to that source. And then from there, you can start. My tools are journaling, meditation, moving your body, but like moving your body because from the inside out, not the outside in, because when you move your body, it creates your mind-body connection, which a lot of us do not have. There are so many people that don't have aren't in their body. When a yoga teacher says that and you're like, I don't understand, they're not in their body. They're almost disconnected head and heart, so they're not actually connected to their body. It's like if you tell them you ask them a question, you say, how does it feel in your gut, like in your body? And they're like, I don't know, what do you mean? Whereas if you ask me something in my gut feel in my stomach, as soon as you ask me a question, I have a yes or a no feeling in my stomach. Like when you're so connected, you can actually listen to your body and help to create this, like almost like you can feel into it, to your intuition and to feel into your body, because your mind and your body are so connected. So movement in that way, and it shifts energy. So it allows you to move the energy, like negative energy, out of your body. So find your why that word and the why and where it came from. And then journaling is so powerful because, you know, we're always thinking about things, you know, most of you will probably be the same as me. You're driving in the car and you suddenly get all these ideas and they come and they're brilliant and then they go because you're driving, so you can't write it down. I've voice note myself now so that I remember that. But you get these ideas all the time. And even if you said to yourself now, how am I feeling? And you played it in your head, you won't remember it or know how you feel because it's kind of like the same thing. It comes and goes. When you write something down and you read it back, especially when you're handwriting and you read it back, you remember it, and your mind only believes what you say. So this is what we spoke about at our Connectable Life workshop, is that your mind only believes what you say. So that's why when people compliment us, we like brush it off straight away because our mind doesn't believe it anyway. So it's really nice when people are like, oh, I love your dress.
Or do you not think that sometimes, Jane, we conditioned not to accept a compliment? Like if someone says, like society basically says, if someone says, oh, you look like to dump, like as women, sometimes not to be like, not that we would come across as vain if we did, but I often feel like if I give someone a compliment, they don't feel like they should accept it. They like almost reject it. They say, oh no, don't be silly, this whole thing, or no, I didn't, or I say, oh, you look lovely today. Oh, do I feel like terrible? Like people often aren't conditioned to accept praise.
But that's not in the ego way. That's because we don't feel good enough. So the whole thing of self-love is that every single one of us on this call, if we're in a room and I ask you to raise your hand, every single person would raise their hand. If you have never felt good enough in your body, in your beauty, in your clothes, in your job, in your friendships, in your family, every single one of us would put our hands up. And this is for your whole life. Everyone has at some stage in their life, if you're feeling amazing now, great. But at some stage in their life, we have all not felt good enough, like not enough for something or someone. So it comes from that, in that we don't feel good enough and we haven't. So when a compliment comes to you, you either in that moment don't feel good enough because you haven't washed your hair or whatever it is. So you don't feel good enough. So you don't feel like you can take the compliment because it doesn't feel real. Or you're still thinking of 5 years ago when, you know, you didn't feel good enough because you were in that relationship and that person was putting you down. So we all condition in that way to not feel good enough. And that's why we say no. But your mind, when you get a compliment, your mind only like believes it for like 20 minutes and then it goes. But when you say a compliment to yourself, your mind only believes what you say. So when you're standing in the mirror and saying, oh, I look really good today, I love this dress on me, your mind believes it and listens to what you're saying. So it's so important to actually give yourself compliments every day, whether it's about your hair or your clothes or whatever the case, is to, even if you're doing good work, to actually give yourself that praise and not look for it externally, because you're not going to believe it anyway. So it doesn't actually make it
completely. And also it's you so right in the moment. Like I must say, one of my friends once said to me, Lucy, I was wearing something, she's like, Lucy, you look like fantastic in it. And I was like, oh, do I? Like, wow, okay. And it makes sense, like, no, what am I doing? I should like, you know what I mean? So it's to hold on to that, to stay with the positivity and keep moving forward in it. Yeah.
And then when they give you a compliment, is to actually take it in and believe it and repeat it to yourself. Repeat what they've said to you yourself in your head, because then you will believe it because you've said it now. So that's why journaling is so important, because you're getting those thoughts out your head. Because if you're just thinking it, it almost doesn't feel real. But if you're writing it down and then you're reading back in your handwriting, your mind believes what you say. So your mind is like, oh, okay, yes. You know, and we don't ask ourselves how we are. How are we feeling? How are we doing? You know, that's why people don't journal, because they just don't know what to write. Or I've done a workshop actually during COVID. One of my biggest selling workshops that I did online was Journaling 101, because people they're like, how do I journal? So I did that, and it's just, so many of them are still journaling every morning. It's amazing, from 2020. And it just creates this beautiful ritual of asking yourself how you are.
My journaling journey was interesting, because I kept trying to journal in a book and had this book where I would write it, and I couldn't get into it until I started journaling on my computer.
Yeah.
And I wish I could take a book and start writing it out, but for me it works to do it on my actual computer.
Yeah, that's
kind of worked for me. Yeah,
I actually went through a phase as well where I was just too busy when I was doing my yoga teacher training last year, and I was just too busy to do that. So every night I would type on my phone in bed when I was putting the little one. She was like lying next to me going to sleep. And I would actually do that and email it to myself. But then I'm also like, I like things that are pretty and that I can see it. So then I'll put it into Canva, create like this pretty border. So I had this template, so I just copy and paste it, and then I'd print it out, cut it out, and stick it in my journal. So I've still got all of it in like a book, so I can look back on it. But yeah, the typing is so much quicker than writing. So it depends on you. Like a lot of people are, I need the physical, I need to write. But then as well, if that suits you to type and to keep it on your computer or an iPad or in your phone notes even, but just getting those thoughts out of your head onto paper so that you can also look back and see how, okay, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing a little bit of movement. I'm going to start meditating every day. And then look back and see the difference of how you feel a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later.
Yeah, I guess that, the power of journaling is that we don't know what we don't know. So if we're going to have negative thoughts about ourselves, our brain likes familiarity. So it's going to keep re-looping those same negative thoughts. But if you put them down onto paper and you can actually see from like an outsider's perspective what you're thinking about yourself, now you've got space to actually reroute those thoughts and to change those thoughts, which is, in my opinion, one of our superpowers, the fact that we can reroute these thoughts and therefore change our feelings about ourselves and therefore also impact the way we sort of behave in the world. But Jane, I'm just thinking in terms of, the fact that we have all had times in our lives where we don't feel good enough for something or someone. Surely a huge source of this is also comparison. The fact that we looking for that external validation, we're looking at the way other people are living, what other people have, how other people behave, all these sort of things. And it makes us feel less than sometimes. We compare it to what we don't have or who we aren't and those sort of things, especially in today's world with social media, where we're watching everybody's lives play out in front of us. And it's so easy for us to then compare.
Yeah, completely. And I think that social media has created this almost like a little war of comparison, especially if you're in the same industry. Like I am lucky in that, to be honest, I've never even researched another person who's teaching self-love's website. I don't follow them. Only recently started connecting with people in America. We all have podcasts, and so we just started this last week following each other. But before that, I didn't follow people that were in the same niche as me. It's just, to be honest, I just don't care. I think because I'm in such a good space with myself and confident wise, but this has taken me years to get to, that I don't look for that external validation, but most people do. So social media has created pressure for you to look a certain way, be a certain way, keep up, you should be doing this. I mean, people look at me and they're like, oh, you're running 3 businesses and you have a child, like, how do you do it? But it's just who I am, and it's nothing to aspire to be. Like, also, if you're into a little bit of the woo-woo stuff and you understand human design, we are all designed differently. I'm a manifesting generator, and we are meant to do different things. So that's why when I create products, it's so good, because if something doesn't light me up anymore, like that gut feeling, I'm not meant to do it. I need to let it go. So for me, creating products, I can do like a limited edition, and then when I'm over it, move on to the next thing. So I'm meant to, as a manifesting generator, have different jobs and different roles. I couldn't just run one brand. It just wouldn't suit me and I wouldn't feel satisfied. Whereas generators just go, can do one thing and do different things. So look, human design is amazing if you look it up. But a lot of people do, and they've messaged me as a mom, they're comparing themselves to me and to my child, which I disagree with. They're comparing their journeys to mine. And I'm like, you need to focus on yourself. Like, this is not your life, this is mine. Like, focus on yourself and what you can do and what you want to do. But it has created this thing, especially body. So I always recommend to clients to unfollow people that don't make you feel good. So when you're on the scroll, we've all done this, we've been on the scroll, and then there'll be someone, whether it's a friend or someone you follow, and you do the eye roll. Ugh. And then instead of still following them, you should go to their profile and unfollow. If you find yourself eye rolling every time you see a certain profile, or like, oh, look at her, she's at the gym and I'm sitting here on the couch eating ice cream. Like, if that's making you feel bad about yourself, you need to unfollow. Or if it's a very close friend or family, mute. Don't see them.
Because Jane, I think basically what you're saying then is, when something is triggering you to a negative way, either you need to address it, or and however you need to address it, you need to do it. So whatever's going to work for you, you being triggered, and in that moment of being triggered, you need to choose how you're going to respond to that trigger. Yeah. And I must say, I'm obviously on Facebook, and and so on Facebook, you can, and even by just remaining neutral is still a response. you know. So like allowing yourself to be neutral to what you see. I have often had like memories come up on Facebook from 10 years ago, and social media has changed so much in the last 10, 12, I don't know how many years, 14 years. Some of the things I wrote and did, I literally wanted to cringe. I'm like, how could I have put that on? Like, I mean, right now that would be so unacceptable. I would never have put up that photo, whatever. I think I look back and I think, what was my intention of sharing that? Like, what was the actual, like, who was that person who felt it necessary to say that on social media? Who did I think I was, you know? Like, my intent, like, and I think often when you look at something on social media, you got to, what is the intention of the person of posting it? And what is it triggering in you? And is it something that you can address? Like, are you being triggered because, you know, you didn't make chicken soup for dinner and you feel like, you know, useless or whatever? Or are you being triggered because you promise yourself, like, why? And by all means think, okay, I'm making peace with a part of my life and I'm moving on. But sometimes you just got to recognize it is a trigger. There are triggers there, you know? And often, but for me, there's sometimes I go on, I love seeing what all my friends' kids are doing overseas. And I have bumped into people and recognized their children that I've never met in real life because they have shared so much of their child on my social media that I almost want to say, like, you know, so, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's how they're choosing to share and document and whatever their life. And I'm choosing to follow them. And it's social media. It's not lonely media. You've got to acknowledge and like and comment and be part of it. You don't go to a party and ignore everyone. So by all means, when you go into your feed, don't ignore everyone on there either. Like it's called social media for a reason. If we all went to a party and someone showed up a photo of their child and we all just kept quiet and ignored it, that would be rude. I think the same might go for that, you know?
Engagement is so interesting because working in social
media, like different rules.
So like that engagement, I have found that people like posts but don't comment anymore. I know everyone's busy, but it's so interesting how they do that. Unless you literally write like a long caption that's very.
Jane, I would like to comment, but I can't think of anything cool to say. And half the time I'm like in my at a robot, the robot's red, and I'd stop myself doing it because I didn't like that. I would be like waiting for a doctor's appointment or waiting for someone to come or even waiting to go on, and I'll literally mindless scrolling. I ban myself on mindless scrolling, and then I want to like it, but then I'm like, I actually can't think of anything cool to say, and then I can see what I did think of 5 people have already said, and then I think, I wonder where they got their dress from, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just like it and move on.
That's it. Everyone's busy, so they just like double tap, double tap, double tap. I've seen a video of my friend actually.
But also, sometimes I see people, but sometimes I see something, I think, geez, this person's actually made a huge effort. They deserve a bit of love. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've also recently been put in a role where I need to do more with, have had to do social media. And I want to tell you, like, that is the way the world is going. That's how people market. And it's not everyone's first choice. But if you want to be out there and be heard, it's what you have to do. And it actually takes quite a lot of effort. You know? It takes quite a lot
and
of
I think a lot of courage as well. It's not always easy to put yourself out there and then you sit and wait for the responses and they don't come.
It's not always easy and you don't always want to, but it's what you have to do. You have to keep showing up and doing the next right thing, and sometimes that's how businesses work right now. That a lot of people, you know, see people are drawn to things that they, you know, entrepreneurs, whatever, through the social media world, and that's where we pretty much all have to be.
So just protecting
I think it's a place where I just always said to everyone, just be kind out there, you know, just be kind. And you don't, I must say, the same goes for all those WhatsApp groups. I've told, I've got a 14-year-old son, and I said to him, Declan, you can't leave a WhatsApp group without saying goodbye and explaining. That's like leaving a party without saying goodbye. You don't go to someone's house and just walk out their front door without saying goodbye. You say, I'm so sorry, I can't make the disco, whatever, the jewel, whatever they call it. I'm going to be away on the holidays. I hope you have a lovely party. Cheers, whatever. You don't just exit. There's etiquette that you didn't, you know, Declan has left the group. No. Get them to re-add you and say something nice. How do you think that person feels?
What a shame. But Jane, I heard you mention, you know, it's about
protecting. I'm like, well, it's not a private group.
And it obviously leads me to the question of boundaries. I mean, surely we can't have self-love without boundaries.
I'm like the queen of boundaries. So, and I help my husband and all my friends. I'm like, you need to set boundaries. So boundaries are scary to most people because you feel like you can't set them with your family and with friends and with coworkers. And it's basically saying what you will and will not tolerate. That's as simple as it is. Like, I feel like we are all here in this one life to be ourselves, and you deserve to have the happiest journey that you have. And the way that you do that is creating a safe space for yourself. And you don't need to be around toxic people, whether it's family or friends or co-workers. So you need to protect yourself. So for example, with the social media, like protecting yourself on social media is unfollowing people that don't make you feel good. Or if you can't unfollow them because they are a family member or a friend who will lose their mind that you unfollowed them, there's a lovely feature called mute where you can mute their stories and their posts. So you're still following them. So they think you're still following them, but you don't see any of their stuff. So if it triggers you or that person triggers you, then you're not going to even, it's almost like they don't exist, but then you don't have to deal with the fallout from them if you unfollow them, because there are some people that are like that. So protecting yourself and setting boundaries. So for me, for example, my boundary of social media, I've set a 1 hour time limit, which is quite hard when you are running 3 businesses and have to post and engage with people. But it also gives me a reminder after 10 minutes, because I mean, you know how easy it is. You are scrolling or watching stories and you're like, oh my God, 10 minutes already. So it's really helpful to set that to help you to be mindful of how long you've been on. And then I journal every morning. I do a gratitude journaling, and it only takes about 5 minutes. And then I'm not allowed to look at my phone. I've set this boundary for myself. I'm not allowed to look at my phone until I've journaled. And let me tell you, it is the quickest way you will get your journaling done. And you'll because we're just drawn to it, and we're drawn to opening our phone and to going on social media and that kind of stuff. So setting boundaries with yourself is so important. Like if you want to start exercising or doing yoga or whatever the case is, giving yourself, say, okay, I'm going to do it 3 times a week. So setting that boundary that you don't get to do TV or social media or whatever it is until you have done that movement for the day, like simple boundaries like that. So setting those boundaries with people is so important. Like if you are a person who, for example, you're a mom and you don't have quiet time, and the only quiet time you have is a bath at the end of the day, setting that boundary with your partner and saying, these children do not come near this door. I'm going to be in there for half an hour. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to see anything. This is my sacred time. This is my boundary. This is my half an hour of time by myself. I don't care if you have to tackle them down the passageway. I don't care if you have to take them outside and play rugby on the grass. I don't care what you do for half an hour. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see. I just want to be by myself. Like that is a boundary. And that is like a sacred boundary that you need to create for yourself. So boundaries, you need to think what you want to happen. So example, if it is muting your phone, turning your phone on silent from 8 p.m. If it is if you're on a WhatsApp group with co-workers and all that, and I know that especially in COVID, it's been so insane that people like bosses have been phoning and emailing and WhatsApping at 8 p.m. and things like that. In the times where they don't pay you, by the way, like your contract says from 8 to 5, like you don't need to be talking or doing work on the other side of that. So it's setting that boundary. Sorry, guys, I have a family, or even if you don't have a family, it is your time. I won't be on this WhatsApp group at this time. I am leaving my phone charging in the kitchen. So see you tomorrow. Like if I'm not replying, that's why. It's just setting those boundaries. So you need to be clear on what you will and won't tolerate. You need to set it to decide for yourself, and then you need to set that boundary. You need to tell the people that you want the boundary.
Jane, can I say something there too? Like, and I just said, often we wear 2 different hats. Then if you are going to do that, then you've also got to respect that from other people. So then you can't be phoning someone at 7 o'clock at night to say this happened or that happened, or I want this, whatever. So I think what I want to say is, yes, it has to work both ways. So if you want people to be available to you after hours in any industry, then you need to offer the same. Or if you would never phone someone after hours to query anything, and like I don't mind. You can contact. I mean, like, have you met my mother? You can contact me morning, noon, and night, and I'll be there to help you. So I must say I don't mind. And so often in our industry, people don't even remember when they get home to contact us, whatever. But I think it's got to work both ways. Yes. You can't be someone who has these hectic boundaries and no one can affect, but yet you don't respect other people's boundaries.
No, for sure. So if you are setting these boundaries, especially with work and colleagues and things like that, then you have to obviously reciprocate as well. But generally, if you are someone who's setting boundaries for yourself, you know the importance of boundaries and you know how it feels to not have boundaries or for someone to overstep them. So generally, then you do reciprocate because you're so aware of it. But there are so many people that aren't self-aware, so they don't even understand boundaries or how to do them, or that other people need to do them. But setting those boundaries is so important because it is a form of self-love. So setting boundaries and looking after yourself and creating the safe space for you to be your true self, allow yourself time to do the things that you want to do. And also, like, a lot of us need time to decompress. So having that time to ourselves, to not have people in our space virtually and physically, is so important as well.
Yeah, and I think we don't realize that there's certain boundaries that may be very black and white, like don't steal, don't whatever. But there's a huge gray area of boundaries where everybody differs. And so people may not realize that they're overstepping our boundaries if we haven't actually communicated them, because that's not something that affects them. So I think a huge part is obviously communicating the boundaries. And I think that's where the fear comes in, because we're so scared that it might cause confrontation or a fight or loss of relationship, whatever it is. And I think until we sort of get to that stage of life where we realize we will never, ever be liked by everyone, we will never, ever please everyone, once we sort of really sit with those realizations, we'll be happier to actually just be ourselves and be surrounded by the people that love that version of ourselves. And it'll be so much easier to set those boundaries, because you kind of realize that whether you do or don't set the boundaries, people aren't going to always like you. They aren't going to always agree with you. So let me rather just be my authentic self, and the rest will sort of follow, and be true to ourselves and find that self-love. Otherwise we feel like we've got this empty pit of constantly trying to sort of like please other people, which we know we can't do.
It's exhausting.
It is.
And also to know that the authentic version of yourself evolves and changes and grows. And I mean, I think I came to the realization just after like one stage of lockdown that I was only going to exercise to move my body. I could no longer pound a pavement. I'm never going to run a comrades. I'm never even going to probably run a 5Ks, whatever. I want to walk and swim and move my body for like just to keep it strong and healthy. And like I don't want to punish it. I'm never going to be, you know what I mean? And it was like such a relief. Okay, I don't have to be a runner, And I think that came with age and wisdom and journaling. Like, why am I avoiding exercise so much? Because the type of exercise I was trying to do, I would really hate it.
You need to do and this is coming from me as a personal trainer, people always ask me, when is the best time to exercise? I'm like, well, when do you want to exercise? What is the best exercise to do? And I'm like, what do you like to do? You like doing Zumba. Please don't go try to do CrossFit. Like, do Zumba. If you like walking, don't try and run unless you like want to do a 5K or something, but don't do something that you hate, because it's going to become a chore. You need to do it because you love your body and you love your life and you want to have a long life and you want to create this beautiful mind and body connection and connect with yourself. Completely. And love yourself. And you need to love
be true to who you are. Like, I'm a natural communicator. I love going for a walk with a friend and talking to her. I was trying spinning. The music was so loud. I couldn't talk. I felt lonely. I couldn't connect with anyone. I couldn't share anything in there. I didn't enjoy. It's an amazing form of exercise and it's great. And there's so many benefits. But for me as a person, it wasn't ticking all my boxes,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well done. To come to that realization, it's massive. That's huge.
I love dropping my kids at school in the Brea, dropping my kids at school, going down with my friend, getting into the sea at Marine Beach and going for a beautiful swim with her. And then and that ticks all like we can chat, we do breaststroke or whatever we want to do, we can talk, we take our little boards and we even kick up the sea splat. Like that's amazing experience. Yeah, that's soul work. Like putting on my turkeys and try to run like from Bark and Bean or whatever was soul destroying. I hated it. I avoided it. I kept it. Why am I avoiding exercise? I know, because I'm doing exercise I hate.
Yeah. So important. That's massive. Well done.
So Jane, I think another thing we may not realize is that self-love comes with relationship with self, obviously, and like relationships with other people, it takes work. It doesn't come naturally, and you may not always like the person you're with, but you still love the person you're with. And it's the same with ourselves. We may not always like ourselves, but it's really important to love ourselves. But it does, of course, take work. So if you were to leave everybody with, like, let's say five self-love hacks. I know you've mentioned journaling and meditating, but some practical things that people can walk away with and say, okay, from today, I'm going to decide to love myself, because I think that's what we forget as well. It's a decision. You need to actually decide to love yourself. And every day moving forward, I'm going to do these 5 things and work on my relationship with myself. What would those 5 things be for you?
So for me, I always say that if I had to just give 2 things that would change your life, would be the way you speak to yourself and setting boundaries. So let's start with that. So negative self-talk. So every time you say something negative to yourself in the mirror, or just unkind in general, like if you do something stupid and you tell yourself you're stupid, things like that. Like I said, your mind only believes what you say. So if you're saying these things to yourself, you're going to believe them. So first of all, you need to start noticing the words you use to describe yourself to yourself and to other people. So the things you're saying in the mirror when you're getting undressed, you need to stop yourself, forgive yourself, and then replace it with a positive. So just stopping yourself in your tracks and be like, no, that's not me speaking, and then change it and give yourself a compliment. So 1, negative self-talk, so changing that. Setting boundaries, so creating a boundary. If there's someone who is triggering you, if there's something that's triggering you, if there's something that's bothering you, setting a boundary with yourself, setting a boundary with others. Also then the guided meditation and journaling. So meditation is scary for most people because they don't understand it. They think that you have to sit there in silence, and that is not the case. You can get a free app like Insight Timer is my favorite, and you can go on there if you've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want to do it for, and you go for the guided meditation, and then find like voices and things that you love. So searching for topics. If you're feeling anxious, type in anxiety, and then one will pop up and you choose it and listen to it. So that's what you can do, is just getting 5 minutes every morning or every night, or even during the day if you can have a break during the day. So that, and journaling, obviously very important. But complimenting yourself, so looking yourself in the mirror, whether it is the outfit that you're wearing, whether it is your eyes popping today, your hair, whatever it is, you need to look in the mirror and give yourself at least 1 compliment every day. Because like I said, your mind only believes what you say. So if you start complimenting yourself, it does feel awkward in the beginning, but after like 2 weeks, it becomes so natural that you will always do that. And then also something like when someone compliments you, stop saying, no, thank you. Oh, sorry, no, it's only from Mr. Price. There's 100 Rand on sale. Just say thank you. Start saying thank you. Thank you. That's all we have to do. It's like, it takes practice, but just say thank you. And then, moving your body. So exactly what Lucy said, don't making it a chore. So yoga, like finding something that is simple and easy. Another thing about yoga, I just want to say, is that everyone always takes it so seriously. Like they have everything, and they go make your tea in the morning, take your tea to your mat, have your journal there and your pen. Put on a yoga video, do it, drink your tea while you're doing it. If you have a moment of clarity, stop while you're doing it and write down whatever thought pops into your head. Don't take yoga so seriously. It's about moving your body, but it's also about the mind-body connection. So make it fun. Have your tea while you're doing it. Write some notes if you have any aha moments. So I always say yoga because yoga is spiritual. So it's not just like pounding the pavement, going to CrossFit. I am a trainer. I used to make my money, or do still, but mostly from yoga, of making people work out all the time. I used to go to CrossFit myself, but yoga is all about the mind-body connection. It's not just about what you look like on the outside. So it's simple to do. Everyone can do it. There are certain poses that everyone can do, and it's about connecting with your mind and your body. So moving your body in a way that feels good to you, because then you start connecting that mind and body, and you're able to be in your body and to make decisions from a place of mind and body, and not just mind, like not just head, not just logical. You like can feel into it. What else have I got? 5. Do I need what else?
You've got 6.
You know me, I could go on for hours. But just connecting with that. working with your body, you've got one life in this body as you. Do you want to spend it hating yourself and berating every part of you? Or do you want to make friends with your body and with yourself and like be your own best friend and living this life in this beautiful body and mind of yours, you know? So working with your body, not against it. So obviously at 14 years, I've heard every single crying point and every single thing that women say about themselves. So make best friends with your body. That's my biggest advice. And doing that through all of those steps for self-love, like thinking of, you have one life in this body. So I always say, like, your body is your home. So you don't speak to your actual physical house the way you speak to this body home, you know? So you need to start speaking to it kindly and saying thank you and having gratitude for literally everything it does for you. We don't even have to think to breathe. I mean, if you start actually thinking about it, it's incredible. So thanking yourself for what your body has created for you, what it allows you to do on a daily basis. Promise you, if you start being grateful for what it does for you and grateful for it and start loving it and speaking kindly to it, if you are wanting to change that way you look on the outside, it becomes a default of what you are doing. So when you're working on the inside, the outside starts changing because of the words you're using to yourself and because you are being so kind to yourself.
Awesome. Love that. Thanks, Jane. Before we run out of time, if you are up to it, I'd love for you to do one of your sort of mindfulness activations.
Okay. So we're going to do kind of like a guided meditation. So I can't see everyone because I've changed my screen as well. But I want you to sit. So if you're holding anything, putting everything down. So we're just going to get comfortable. So if you're sitting on a chair, you can lean back on your chair. If you are sitting on the floor, sitting with your legs crossed, and then you're just going to gently close your eyes. And you can have your hands like in your lap, palm onto palm, palms facing up. Or if you're sitting cross-legged, you can also put your hands onto your knees. And just taking a deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. So in your mind, I want you to take yourself to a safe space. So it could be your home, it could be the beach, the forest, it could be a childhood holiday destination. Wherever you feel safe, I want you to take yourself there now. And you notice your surroundings, the familiar sounds and smells. Just noticing how you feel, that sense of safety and groundedness, almost like a sense of home. You see a little person in the distance. You start walking towards them. And you realize that it is 10-year-old you. So you go up to yourself, stare at each other in the eyes, and give your little self a great big hug. You sit down onto the ground, holding hands, and just having a great big catch up. And I want you to sit facing smaller you, holding both hands, looking at each other, and say all the things that you want your 10-year-old self to know. Giving yourself love, compliments, whatever you need to know right now and to feel right now, the words that you need right now in this life at this age, telling 10-year-old you that now. Giving yourself that positive reinforcement through 10-year-old you. Just saying everything that you need to hear now. And then saying everything that you needed to hear then at 10. and reassuring yourself that things will get better, that from today you will make time for yourself, time for that small version of yourself, and that putting the time into present you is going to help heal past you. Telling yourself that you are safe now, that you are protected, and that you are doing everything in your power from this day forward to love yourself so that you can love that version of you too. Giving yourself that love that you craved. That from today, you'll be putting that love back into you, setting boundaries with others, speaking kindly to yourself, moving your body in a way that feels good for you, putting yourself first, and loving this home that you are in. Giving past you a great big hug. Telling him or her that you love them. And then standing up and walking back to your safe space, to where you found yourself. Putting your hands on your heart. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Repeating in your head, I am worthy. I am loved. I am beautiful. I am successful. And I am enough. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And slowly fluttering your eyes open. Coming back down to earth.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane. There's something so like vulnerable about seeing a smaller version of yourself, but at the same time, so hopeful, you know, to see what still lies ahead for that little girl or that little boy.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow.
I read something the other day that said the best thing you can do for self-love as an adult is to nurture yourself in all the ways that you weren't nurtured as a child. And I think that activation is such a lovely starting point to sort of go back to that place and what did that little person need and what can you do for that person now, which is really, really cool.
And you wouldn't say those things if little you was standing in front of you. The things that you say to yourself, like in the mirror each day, you would never say to them, you know? So just thinking on that, like saying the way you describe yourself to yourself and to other people and the things you say to yourself in your head on a daily basis. If little you was standing in front of you, would you say that to him or her? 99% would be no. You know, so thinking on that, and every time you want to say it, picturing little you and being like, would I say this to him or her? Like, no, you know, then
or even to
another person.
Yeah, I was going to say, or even to a friend. I know there's some people that I've heard them, like when they criticize themselves, I'm like, you wouldn't talk to me like that, you know, like you would never say that to me or think that about me. I can't believe you would say it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just changing the narrative and allowing ourselves to feel like we are able to change things. Like you don't have to, you're not a tree, you don't have to stay stuck, you know, it's we have legs that can move, you know, so allowing yourself to move from situations, whether it is self situations or those around you, environment, like making a plan to actually move forward. Like how are you going to do that? So whether it is coming to someone like me, so for yoga, I also have an online beginner yoga challenge for those out of Durban, if you are watching, where you can actually, I've filmed videos and everything teaching you the poses and going from that. So whether it is come to someone like me to help you to learn yoga so that you can feel confident going to an intermediate class, whether it is trying to do meditations 5 minutes every day. I mean, we have so many excuses for not having time, but we will scroll for however long. You know, you need to just reprioritize your time. That's what it is. So whether it's that, whether it's watching uplifting videos, whether it is doing like a self-study course on self-love, whatever it is, like connecting to a community that makes you feel good about yourself. So whatever it is, like taking that stand and allowing yourself to dream and to actually want more for yourself, you know, to create this beautiful life where you can actually love yourself. Like, it's not selfish and it's not egotistical. It is needed. Like, you need to love yourself first, because you are spending your whole life with you. You know, other people come and go, but you are literally, this is you for your whole life. So, you know, making friends with yourself and actually spend the most time with you. So you should love who you are and loving what you do for yourself as well.
Absolutely. Can't say it better than that.
Most definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jane, you have been an absolute star. Thank you so much for your time this morning, just for sharing your wisdom with us, and just your, just like obviously the journey that you've walked, and just the people that have come into your life over your 14 years as a trainer. You have probably seen and heard it all. So it was just so nice just to have this space with you where we could just, like, you know, just connect and just hear part of your story.
Yeah, it was
it was super.
Thank
we'll
you,
have to
Jane.
connect again, like with coffee in person on the promenade for a walk.
Most definitely.
Awesome.
And Jess, thank you so much, Jess, just for this platform, and just for all the women that are going to be have been watching us live, that are going to watch the recording, that are going to see snippets of it. There's just so much that just we can take from it. And I must say, it really is just a great space to be. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucy. It's been lovely having you with us and chatting.
Perfect. Have a great week, everyone, and happy Monday.
Thank you.
Enjoy, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.